This is a really cool hole. The creek is getting squeezed right in through here by this huge boulder and that pile of cliff rocks over there. And it's taking a little bit of dip, about 3 to 4 feet dip down into this hole, and this is deep in here. This is probably 6 feet deep. And then it tails out into shallow riffles. So trout are gonna hold in here. They like the deep water. It's colder at the bottom. It's softer. I'm gonna go ahead and traditionally nymph in here for the first couple casts, just to see who's in here, if there's anything. I am using, my first fly is a black midge, and my second fly is a glizzy, which is a worm imitation. Because it's raining, the water has risen a little bit, and when the water rises a little bit, these rocks like this that are normally not covered by water have worms under them, and they get washed down and the trout pick them off. So my plan is I'm going to cast up into this water here, right where it starts to get some white foam, and drift it on through here. I'm working this close seam to me as starters, just to sort of see how the drift is going to go, see which way my indicator is going to come through the tail end of this hole, and at what point my flies rub up against the bottom, so I can kind of manage the rest of my casts and drifts. Bend my line downstream because my fly line was drifting slower than the actual flies. I don't want to drag my indicator down unnaturally. Ooh. Not sure if that was a hit or not. It's tough to see because of the glare. Sun's not out quite yet. Try to get a little bit further up into that faster current. That way it gives my flies time to drift down into the strike zone. And I might not be deep enough. That might be the other issue. I might have to lengthen my indicator. Take a couple more drifts just to sort of see where it takes me, and then I'm just going to change some things up. So for starters, I'm going to add a little weight. I'm going to put it in between my first fly and my second fly, and that should do two things. One, it'll pull my bottom fly help my bottom fly sink quicker. And 2, it'll pull down my first fly and get it down quicker. Just see if that does anything. I'll try that for starters, and then maybe the other thing I'll do is lengthen it to make it deeper. Oh, jeez. I almost caught that. That scared the living jabebers out of me. What the heck happened here? Did I seriously? No. I didn't lose it. I'm all tangled up. I think when that bird, that blue heron, came flying by me, it startled my cast, and I wasn't really able to completely cast forward. I kind of pulled back. Let's try this again. So my flies are definitely getting down to the bottom because they're getting stuck towards the tail end. See how it's sort of dragging on the bottom there? The water is not fast enough to pull it down, so my flies are sinking at a good pace. The issue is, I think they're sinking, but they're not sinking deep enough, so I'm going to lengthen. Did a couple with, I did a couple drifts with adding just a weight, and now I'm going to lengthen it probably about 6 inches. 6 inches is actually a fair amount when traditionally nymphing, because as it drags down, it's going to sink at a quicker pace. It has longer. You don't want it to drag too much, so just a little bit of extra length kind of goes a long way. So let's review what I did. I cast it in here a couple times to see what was going to happen with my drift. And I didn't think my flies were getting down quick enough because of the faster current. So I added a split shot. Casted it a few times and didn't think that my flies were getting deep enough. Even though back at the tail end, they actually were dragging on the bottom. So I ended up lengthening my strike indicator to make it deeper. So my flies will sink faster and they'll go deeper. Just casting up into this faster current in hopes that my flies sink down into it, down into that strike zone, because I'm assuming the trout are probably right here at this edge, right when it gets deep. So my plan is I'm hoping I can get my flies high enough into this faster water where they sort of drag on the ground enough that when they enter this faster current, when they enter this faster current, they're down deep enough. I think that was a hit. So let's try that again. Get my fly up into that faster current. It's shallow, but my flies are going to drag a little bit. And then as they enter this deeper water, they're already on the bottom and they can sink a little bit more and get down into that strike zone. I'm way up into that faster current. My flies should be down to the strike zone at this point. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're having a hard time getting my flies down there. All right. I needed to get my fly down there. Oh. Oh. Got some life in them. A gorgeous place to catch a trout. Alright, let's see if I can get this guy to the surface. There we go. Took that black midge. Whoops. Release this guy here. Gorgeous, gorgeous fish. Nice shoulders on it. Oh shoot, what happened here? Got wrapped around here. There we go. Let's try this again. There you go, thanks.